They say the worst pain is physical. But they're wrong. The deepest pain, the kind that creeps into your thoughts at night and doesn't let you sleep, is the pain of realization. The moment you look back and realize you can't go back. That you missed something so simple, so human, and now it's gone. And here's what no one tells you. It's not the big decisions you regret after 65. It's not the job you didn't take, the house you didn't buy, or even the trip you didn't go on. It's the ordinary moments you treated like they were nothing. Before I go further, I want to say this. If you're over 60, or you care about someone who is, hit the subscribe button now. This channel is for us, for the ones who've lived long enough to know better, and still wish they'd known sooner. Now let me tell you exactly what I regret the most after 65. I regret not being present with the people I loved the most. It's easy to say that now, sitting in a quiet house, watching the dust settle in rooms that were once loud with laughter and life. But back then, I was always somewhere else. My body might have been in the room, but my mind was always ahead, on bills, deadlines, responsibilities, distractions. I used to think multitasking was a strength. I could nod while someone talked, half listen while answering emails, skim over important moments like they were small print on a receipt. But those tiny interactions? That's where life really lives. There was one day, I remember it too well. My wife was telling me about her garden. Nothing big. Just about how the roses were finally blooming after weeks of rain. She was smiling, excited. But I wasn't listening. I nodded, grunted, gave her half a glance. I couldn't even tell you what color the roses were. I never looked. A few years later, that garden grew wild without her. And now, every time I see a rose, it feels like it's asking me why I didn't care more when it mattered. People think regret comes from loss. But often, it comes from absence. From being physically present but emotionally missing. And now I realize, I didn't need to do anything extraordinary to have a beautiful life. I just needed to show up, fully, for the people I loved. The world doesn't warn you about this. It tells you to hustle, to push harder, to chase the next thing. But when you're sitting alone at 68, staring out a window with more past than future ahead of you, you don't think about your accomplishments. You think about the conversations you brushed off. The dinners you skipped. The birthdays you forgot. My granddaughter once said, "Grandpa, remember when I was a princess in my school play?" I smiled and said yes. But the truth? I wasn't there. I told her I had work. I told myself it wasn't a big deal. She played a tree, stood quietly in the background, and kept looking out at the crowd, hoping to see me. She never did. That's the memory I carry now. Not her on stage, but her looking for me. Don't get me wrong, I made a decent life. Paid my bills, stayed out of trouble, worked hard. But I would trade all those promotions, all those urgent tasks I thought were so important, for one more slow walk with my wife. For one more dinner where I actually looked my son in the eye and listened, really listened. You might still have time. You might still have those people around you, waiting to be seen, to be heard, to be remembered. So here's my message to you. Put the phone down. Turn off the TV. Be where your feet are. Look your loved ones in the eye and give them the gift of your full attention. It sounds small, but I promise, it's the most valuable thing you can give. You know what's worse than losing someone? Realizing they left with words you never said. Let that sink in for a second. We spend so much of our lives guarding our feelings. We lock them up, save them for the right time, and convince ourselves that people just know how we feel. But let me tell you something from the heart of a man who's lived through his share of goodbyes. No one hears the words you never speak. And that, right there, is one of my biggest regrets after 65. When I was younger, I thought showing emotion was weakness. I thought being strong meant staying silent. You don't cry, you don't admit you're scared, you don't say, I miss you, unless someone says it first. I had a brother. Not by blood, but a lifelong friend I considered closer than family. We grew up together, laughed, fought, built memories. And then, life happened. We had a falling out. Nothing massive, just pride. He said something, I said something back. We stopped talking. I kept telling myself I'd call him. That we'd talk it out when the time was right. That we'd patch it up at some family event, some future day when time had smoothed the edges. That day never came. He passed away unexpectedly. And I was left holding every unsaid word like a weight I couldn't drop. All the apologies. All the laughter we never got to share again. All the stupid reasons we stayed silent. I still talk to him sometimes, quietly, to the sky, but it's not the same. And that's the thing. We all assume there's time. But time isn't generous. It doesn't wait for us to get it right. I regret not saying, I forgive you. I regret not saying, I love you, man. You were always my brother. There were so many moments in my life when I could have spoken love, encouragement, kindness, but I didn't. And when you get older, your heart starts flipping through the pages of your past like a photo album. You start seeing all the places where words were needed and silence was a mistake. I missed opportunities to tell my daughter how proud I was of her. I thought it would embarrass her. I missed chances to tell my wife how much she meant to me, thinking she already knew. But now I've learned, don't ever assume they know. Tell them. Show them. Say it out loud. You don't want to be 70, sitting alone on your porch, whispering I love you into the wind, hoping the memory of someone can hear you. So, if you're still here, if the people you love are still within reach, speak. Today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Say the things you've been carrying around in your chest. Say them with courage, not perfection. Say them like your future self is listening, because one day they will be. And you'll either live with peace or with silence. I wish I had chosen peace sooner. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked in the mirror and not recognized the person staring back at you, not because of the wrinkles or gray hair, but because somewhere along the way, you stopped being you? That's another regret that crept up on me after 65. Not overnight. Slowly. Quietly. One small compromise at a time, until I realized I had spent decades being who the world needed me to be, but not who I really was. You don't notice it when you're younger. You're busy becoming someone reliable, responsible, productive. You build a life, raise a family, pay the bills, show up on time, keep the house running, meet expectations. But what no one tells you is, in doing all that, you can lose your own voice. I used to love playing the piano. I'd sit for hours as a teenager, just playing what I felt. No sheet music. Just emotion pouring out of my fingers. It was one of the only things that ever made me feel like me. But somewhere along the way, I stopped playing. I told myself there wasn't time. That grown men don't sit and play for the joy of it. That I had bigger responsibilities now. And so, the piano collected dust. And so did a part of me. It wasn't just music. I stopped doing a lot of things that made me feel alive. I stopped writing letters. I stopped telling jokes. I stopped dreaming. Not because anyone told me to, but because life slowly convinced me those things didn't matter anymore. But here's the truth, they did matter. They always did. After 65, when the noise of daily life starts to quiet down, when the kids are grown, the job is over, and the schedule isn't packed anymore, you finally have time to hear your own thoughts again. And for me, those thoughts said one thing. Where did you go? I had become a ghost of the man I used to be. Not because I failed, but because I forgot. So I started doing something that felt silly at first. I started asking myself questions. Simple ones. What made you smile as a child? What did you love doing when no one was watching? What did you give up because you thought it was selfish? And slowly, painfully, I started to remember. And here's where it gets real. I realized the biggest lie we're told as we age is that our best days are behind us. That rediscovering who we are is a luxury we can't afford. That joy is for the young. Nonsense. You're never too old to find yourself again. But the longer you wait, the harder it is to remember who you were. I regret waiting so long. I regret not fighting harder to hold on to my spirit, my creativity, my laughter. I regret letting should replace want. And if you're watching this now, and you're feeling lost or stuck or unsure of who you even are anymore, please hear me when I say, it's not too late. Go pick up that paintbrush. Dust off the guitar. Dance in your living room. Laugh too loud. Wear the bright color. Say the ridiculous thing. Make mistakes. Be curious again. Be you again. Don't spend the rest of your years just existing. Start living like your soul is still awake, because it is. Let me tell you the regret that cuts the deepest. It's not about what I didn't say, or what I didn't do. It's about the time I didn't respect. Time is tricky. When you're young, it feels infinite, like a well that never runs dry. You waste it like pocket change. You scroll through it, sleep through it, wish it away. Always waiting for the right time. But now I know the truth. Time is not something you have. It's something you spend. And once it's spent, you never get it back. I regret wasting time on things that didn't matter. I spent years worrying about things I can't even remember now. Holding grudges that served no purpose. Chasing approval from people who didn't even truly see me. Obsessing over what others thought, instead of focusing on what I thought. I regret giving so much of my time to people who didn't deserve it, and not enough to the ones who did. I regret not taking more naps with my kids on my chest when they were small. I regret all the evenings I chose email over eye contact. I regret choosing busy over present. But most of all, I regret thinking I had more time to get it right. You don't wake up at 65 and realize life is short. You wake up and realize it's already happened. The years you thought were slow went by fast. The people you assumed would always be there aren't. And the moments you rush through now feel like gold dust you can't get back. But here's the good news. The time you have right now still counts. You don't need to move mountains. Just move your attention. Move it back to what really matters. Call the person you've been meaning to call. Apologize. Forgive. Laugh harder. Sit longer. Hug tighter. Ask questions. Tell your story. Because one day, someone will remember you, not for what you did, but for how you made them feel. I used to think leaving a legacy meant building something big. A business, a name, a record. But now I know, your legacy is built in quiet moments. The time you gave, the memories you created, the stories you shared, the way you made people feel safe, loved, seen. And yes, I have regrets. But I also have today. And so do you. Make it count. If you've made it this far, thank you, from the bottom of my heart, for listening. Maybe you saw a piece of yourself in my story. Maybe you've been carrying some regrets of your own. Just know this, you are not alone. And your story isn't over yet, not by a long shot. Every day we wake up is a chance to choose differently, to connect more deeply, to live more honestly. And if this message touched you, if it gave you something to think about, or reminded you of your own worth, please take a moment to subscribe. This channel is a place for wisdom, truth, and the kind of conversations we don't have nearly enough. I'd love for you to be part of this growing community. So hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below, and share this with someone who might need it. Because sometimes hearing the right words at the right time can change everything. Until next time, live well, love deeply, and remember, it's never too late to come back to yourself.